Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's Saints news and a Saints Roundup here on the FootballMartin channel today. Lots coming your way, including some good news at last. We're going to talk about our under-21s and their big victory yesterday. We're going to touch upon Dom Ballard and his future at the football club. There's some transfer chat surrounding Joe Aribo. What happened to Ryan Fraser? And an ex-Southampton midfielder, he's been linked with a move back to the Premier League with Leeds United. I'm going to cover all of that in today's show. But before I do get into it, I've got to give a massive shout out to two very special people who've supported the FootballMartin channel this weekend. Jane Davis and Mark Eggleton have both joined my Kingsland tier over on Patreon. Thank you both very much indeed for your support of the channel. You will be getting exclusive content over there on Patreon. And if you want to find out a bit more about my Patreon and what I offer, please do go check that out. It's patreon.com/FootballMartin. Let's get into today's show, and we're going to kick off with some good news. It's good to speak about something that's positive for once, because the Saints under-21s yesterday stormed into the Premier League 2 playoff semi-finals with a 5-2 victory over Fulham. And the star man in this game was young man Dom Ballard, because he stealed a hat-trick yesterday. He was on fire. And if you want to go and check out all the goals from that game, head over to the club's official website. And if you've got a login, you can watch the goals. You can watch some highlights from the game. It was a really, really good performance from the lads. They played really, really well, and they look a cut above Fulham, you've got to say. And I was so impressed with Dom Ballard. He's a proper striker, and he took his goals really, really well. Lots of people across social media calling for him to be brought into the first team for the remainder of the season. Well, he's already been out on loan twice this season, so he cannot play again. He's already played for 2 clubs, so that will stop him playing in the first team this season. But let's talk about his future at Southampton Football Club. Does Dom Ballard have a future at the Saints? Well, for me, absolutely. I really like him. I think he looks a really, really good player. I've not seen him play in the flesh for a very, very long time, but he is a top player. And he certainly knows where the back of the net is. He spoke after the game yesterday with Alfie House from the Echo, who's got a story over on his website, the Echo, or the Echo's website. You need to be a member to see the full interview. You have to pay a small amount to see it. But a few snippets from that, because he's tweeted it, Alfie, so he won't mind me reading this out. He said, in terms of being here next year, it's the place I want to be. I've been here since I was 8 years old, and the majority of my life has been spent here. I love it, he said. He's a big Saints fan, really. He said, it's an unbelievable club, and I want to stay, said Dom Ballard. But it's the pathway. That's what I need to see. So basically, he wants to know, does he have a pathway into the first team next season? Well, surely it's now time for him to have that pathway, to him to have that opportunity over pre-season. And I really hope he does, because he does look like a really good up-and-coming talent. He's had all those loan spells. He had a horrific injury whilst he was out on loan with Reading last season. He's recovered from that, and he's got himself back. He had a period of time with Cambridge this season as well. I think it's been difficult for him, but whenever he comes back to Southampton, he seems to thrive when he's here. But it was a hat-trick from him yesterday, and it gives Saints a lot of room in that game to really breathe, because his goals really did take the pressure off the Saints. And they're through, and they to the semi-final where they play Crystal Palace, and I believe that is being played at Selhurst Park. So a great opportunity for the young lads there as well, and hopefully they can go all the way. I think they have a really good chance by the sounds of it. I've not watched enough under-21 football, I have to be honest, but I will invite Alfie House on here to the podcast. I've mentioned it to him a few times. I need to try and get a little bit of time with him for half an hour where he could give us a bit of a lowdown on all the star performers in the under-21s, because I don't want to pretend to know everything about the 21s when I haven't watched them like someone like Alfie and George have. So I will invite one of those guys on to give us a bit more of a lowdown. So I do hope that Dom Ballard stays at Saints. He wants to stay, but he does need to see that pathway. Give me all your thoughts to that in the comments box below. Right, Joe Aribo, he's been linked with a move away from the club this summer. It does look like he will exit. He's got 1 year remaining on his deal at Southampton. There's a £5 million fee that they're speaking about, and they're talking about the clubs that Southampton are already in the group with, the other clubs in the Sport Republic network, and there could be swap deals involved. It remains to be seen where he will go, but there is talk that he will leave the football club this summer. Give me your thoughts to Joe Aribo exiting. Would you like to keep Joe Aribo for the Championship season next year, or is it time to cash in on Aribo? I think with the final year of his contract coming up, I think we're selling. Personally, would I be gutted to see Aribo go? Honestly, I wouldn't. He would do a job in the Championship if he was at it and he was on it, but he's not featured at all under Simon Rusk. I don't think he's had a minute since Simon Rusk took the reins at Saints. So I don't expect, in all honesty, to see Joe Aribo pull on the Saints shirt again, really. You may see him get a substitute appearance, but Simon Rusk doesn't seem to fancy him for whatever reason. There must be a reason behind that, but let's see where he ends up. There is talk that there are Turkish clubs looking at him. He'll end up going somewhere in Europe. He was well liked at Rangers as well. Could there be a return to Rangers for Joe Aribo as well? Another player that I want to talk about on the channel, and if you've heard anything, get involved in the comments box below, because I loved his performances last season. And a lot of people didn't think he was going to be good enough this season. I don't know what's happened, whether it's an injury issue, but Ryan Fraser, we've not seen him all season. He had those injuries. He obviously signed late from Newcastle. He was not training with their first team. He trained away from everybody for whatever went on at Newcastle. Russell Martin was desperate to bring him here as a squad player. He got sent off against Leicester City back in October time when they beat us at St Mary's, and we've not seen him again since. So what happened to Ryan Fraser? I've not really seen any clips of him training neither. So has he got an injury? Is he going to be around next season? He's got a year on his contract. Could he be an important player for you next season in the Championship? I still think he's got a part to play, but it was a strange signing, let's be honest. A lot of people didn't feel he was good enough for the Premier League. I thought he was good enough to be a squad player, but there must be a long-term injury. I'd love to find out a bit more, so I might tweet some of the press guys to ask that question when they go to the presser with Simon Rusk this week. What has happened to Ryan Fraser? But I want to get your thoughts on, does he have a part to play next season in the Championship? Because somebody put it on X today, and this is what got me thinking. And somebody said, no, not one of our wingers would have scored that goal that he scored against Hull last year in the Championship. It's a brilliant goal that he scored. He scored some good goals last year, and he was really important in some games. His energy, his work rate was decent. Can we get him back to fitness to play a key role next season? Because I don't think we'll be spending that much money this summer. I'm going to break that down later in the week on the channel. We're going to take a look back at last time we got relegated from the Premier League and what we did in the window during that transfer window, and we'll look at what we'll probably have to do this time round. Leeds United fans, you'll be interested in this one because there is talks at this moment in time around a player that spent a period of time with us. Moussa Djenepo has been linked with a return back to the Premier League with Leeds United. He's also been linked with a move to Rangers as well, but there's this talk around Leeds United are reportedly entering talks to sign him. I'd be very, very surprised if they've entered talks to sign Moussa Djenepo. It's been reported across social media, different press are writing stories on this. He was signed for us for around, I was looking back at the deal today, it was £14 million from Standard Liège. 14 million we signed Djenepo for. Quite incredible. He was spoken about in the same breath as Sadio Mane. Quite incredible, really, because he should never be spoken about in the same breath as Sadio Mane. Million miles apart in terms of quality of player, in my opinion. And I think all of you guys will agree with me as well. Amazing that he spent the 4 years with us, I've got to say. Like I say, he came in from Standard Liège, £14 million. That was in 2019. And he rejoined Standard Liège for £3 million 2 years ago when we got relegated from the Premier League last time round. And he's recently been out on loan in Turkey with Antalyaspor. who have an option to sign him permanently this summer, but they've got some financial issues there where they've not been even paying wages reportedly. He's 26 years old now. He has a £1.7 million release clause at Standard Liège, and it's been reported that Leeds United are interested in him. Here are some of his statistics, Leeds fans, of what he did during his time down here at Southampton. He played predominantly off the left wing. He's right-footed, so he cuts inside a lot. He's obviously 26 years old now. He scored 5 goals in his time down here at Southampton. You can see his Premier League appearances. He had 73 Premier League appearances. Surprises me a lot, that does. He had 8 in the FA Cup and 10 EFL Cup appearances as well, where he did score one very, very good goal that you would see. If you Google it on Google, you will see the goal that he scored against Manchester City. It was when we knocked them out of the EFL Cup under Nathan Jones, and he scored an absolute worldie. And it was probably his best performance ever in a Southampton shirt. But I'll be honest, Leeds fans, if you're looking to retain your Premier League status next season, Djenepo is not a player I'd be looking at. For me, he struggled here. He got a lot of injuries. He's quite lightweight. I don't know how he's developed since he left, but he's been playing in lesser leagues. So I can't imagine he's improved as a player. He does a lot of stepovers. He kicks it out quite a lot. He runs into dead ends. He's got no real end product. Some of his best games, actually, I saw were under Hasenhüttl, actually, when he reverted to left back. We had a massive injury crisis. I think it was at left back. We had an injury crisis at the start of the season. We got relegated from the Premier League when Hasenhüttl started as manager, Jones and Sellés. So last time around, 2003. He had a couple of really good games and he worked really hard, but it was just about he'd get a foot in, he'd tackle, and look, his distribution was never very good. He's just not the greatest player ever. I've got to be honest with you. I don't want to be harsh on him. He seems a really nice lad, was great with the fans, great with the kids, with autographs. I've seen him around the fan base and he was really, really good. Seemed like a really decent person. But in terms of quality of footballer, I just don't think he's the greatest footballer ever. Saints fans will get involved in the comments box below, hopefully, and give you all their thoughts on Djenepo in his period of time at Southampton. Is he, Saints fans, good enough for Leeds next season in the Premier League? Because Leeds will be they will be wanting to stay in the Premier League, and they will be looking at the mistakes that we made when we got promoted this last season into this season, and they won't want to make the same ones. I don't think Djenepo is the calibre of player that Leeds United will be looking at. He's more likely for me to end up in Scotland, playing in Scotland. Rangers are linked with him as well, and I think that would probably be quite a good fit for him. And also linked with Rangers is also Ralph Hasenhüttl, the ex-Southampton manager, who left Wolfsburg at the weekend. He was sacked as the season comes to an end. They've been on a really bad run of form. Lots of Saints fans calling for him to come back to St Mary's. That will never happen. When Sport Republic, that own the football club who sacked him, are still there, that will not happen. There is no doubt about that. I cannot see that one happening for love nor money. But like I say, it's a £1.7 million release clause to bring him back to the Premier League. If Leeds do decide to do it, I just don't see that one happening. When I cover the fans forum this week, I think we should definitely cover the playoffs and have a look at the Championship playoffs because it's very interesting. I saw a good statistic today around Bristol City, actually. They have made the playoffs. Congratulations to them. They had the fewest wins ever of any side to get into the playoffs. They won only 17 games and it got them a playoff spot. Obviously, they drew a lot of games, but 17 wins got them a playoff spot. I was really surprised at that statistic. Really, really surprised. I'm very... be interested in the playoffs. They'll kick off on Thursday. I'll be watching that with some... Yeah, I'm going to watch all the playoffs this time round. I'm working Friday, but I will record it and watch it. I'm very interested to see how Coventry get on. But for me, maybe my favourites at the moment, I do think Coventry have a really good chance. I see Sheffield United. They put a tweet out today talking about the ticket sales. They didn't seem that up for it at all. And I'm not surprised after their experience within the Premier League. I was looking at... Well, I always talk about statistics on the channel and want to finish upon this final stat. I saw that Taylor Harwood-Bellis would say he's not wishing away the final 3 games of the Premier League season. And I did a tweet this morning and I said, as a Saints fan, I'm certainly wishing away the next 3 games. As I went on to say, this season has been nothing short of an embarrassment, and we could still break some Premier League records for the most defeats in a season. At the moment, it's 29. That's jointly held by Ipswich, Sunderland and Derby. And the big question is, could Saints go on and beat that? They have 3 games remaining. Could we go on and have the most defeats of any team in the Premier League history? I have a horrible feeling that may just happen. Right, that comes to the end of my show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you do get involved in the comments box below. Fans Forum will be live again on Thursday, 8 p.m. kickoff here on YouTube. And keep an eye across all my platforms for all the latest Saints news and little updates. I will be doing little TikTok videos. I put out reels most days, so it's well worth giving me a follow over on TikTok as well. And I do put those reels on YouTube. And you can get all my content in audio format on all the major podcast platforms as well. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to everybody that's become a member here on YouTube as well. Your support, guys, does mean the absolute world to me. I'll see you again soon in some more Saints content.